£104 million of dirty cash was smuggled in suitcases from the UK to Dubai between November 2019 and October 2020. It was all organised by this man here, Abdullah Alfalasi. How was this possible? Who did Abdullah work with, and how did it all end? Let's find out. Welcome to Fin Crime Files. In this channel I'll be posting content discussing stories of corruption, fraud, money laundering and anything fin crime. Now if that sounds like something you're interested in, please subscribe and like these videos, it really does help me out. Emirates national Abdullah Alfalasi was the kingpin of a huge money laundering operation where profits were said to come from drug trafficking. On the 4th of February 2022, the United Arab Emirates were placed on the grey list by the Financial Action Task Force. The grey list is a list of jurisdictions who are subject to increased monitoring and have agreed to work with the Financial Action Task Force to address underlying issues in their regime to counter money laundering, terrorist financing and proliferation financing. Other countries include Albania, Panama and South Sudan. In 2022, the United Arab Emirates made a commitment to work with the Financial Action Task Force to strengthen its effectiveness of its anti-money laundering regime. I think it's fair to say Abdullah definitely took advantage of the country's insufficient anti-money laundering regulations. Though Abdullah didn't work alone, he hired a team of couriers who would pack hundreds of thousands of pounds into suitcases. Each courier was paid between £3,000 to £8,000 per trip, depending on how much cash they were smuggling. Abdullah wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty either. He made several trips smuggling cash from the UK to Dubai. So here's how it worked. The group would pick up cash from various criminal networks across the UK. The cash would be taken to designated counting houses, which were usually rented apartments in central London. Here, the cash would be counted and prepared for transport. This would involve vacuum packing wads of cash and fitting them into suitcases. Each suitcase would usually contain around £500,000, weighing around 40 kilos, which is £88. Each would be sprayed with coffee or air freshener in an effort to prevent them being found by border force detection dogs. On arrival in Dubai, they would use a company set up by Abdullah called Omnivest Gold Trading to cover the cash declarations. The money would be converted into dirham, with some being used to buy gold in Africa or cryptocurrency, before being released back to the customers in the UK. The group took roughly a 10% cut of all the money they smuggled. So between them, the National Crime Agency have estimated they made excess of £12 million from this venture. The group even flew business class for extra luggage allowance. I mean, why would you fly economy if you've literally got suitcases full of money? Senior investigator for the National Crime Agency, Ian Truby, stated, due to the amount of cash which was smuggled out of the country, this is one of the largest money laundering operations the UK have ever seen. Adrian Sorrell, director of the National Crime Agency's National Economic Crime Centre, said, international money laundering networks such as this one can move hundreds of millions, if not billions of pounds of dirty money around the globe annually. This money underpins the shadow economy and fuels serious criminality. The NECC works with partners to dismantle money laundering networks, seize cash, and make it harder to launder money within and out of the UK. International partnerships are key. We strongly welcome the efforts made by the United Arab Emirates law enforcement, including Dubai Police, to assist our investigation, and this builds on a landmark agreement to tackle illicit financing that the Home Secretary signed with the United Arab Emirates last September. Members of Abdullah's money laundering gang included Nicola Eson. Between August to September 2020, Nicola made 3 trips from the UK to Dubai. During these trips, Nicola checked in 19 suitcases, which totalled to a weight of almost half a tonne, an amount of £6.4 million. Tara Hanlon was another member of the gang. Tara was arrested at Heathrow Airport trying to board a flight to Dubai with £2 million of cash vacuum packed across 5 suitcases she checked in. When asked by border officers why she checked in 5 suitcases, she told the officers she was off on a girls' trip and didn't know what to wear. Mohammed Lias made 2 trips from the UK to Dubai with suitcases full of cash totalling the amount of £2.5 million. It wasn't until February 2020 Mohammed was arrested after border force officers found a missing bag belonging to him which contained £431,000. I can't even imagine the anxiety of losing a bag with that much cash. Another member of the gang was Czech national Zdeněk Kamarit, who was stopped at Heathrow Airport in November 2020, trying to board a flight from London to Dubai with more than £1.3 million vacuum packed into suitcases. He was also found with bundles of £50 notes stuffed into his socks. Documents detailing how much cash were in each bag, as well as the credit card he used to purchase the bags a week before, were also found. When questioned by Border Force officers, he told them he intended to use the cash to buy watches and that he was also a currency trader. Now, Abdullah didn't recruit these couriers alone. He had help from mum of two, Michelle Clark, who's believed to be living in Dubai. Michelle, who is a former Sky TV coordinator, has been named by the National Crime Agency as a person of interest in relation to the recruitment of couriers for Abdullah. In December 2021, Abdullah was arrested at a flat owned by his wife's wealthy family in Belgravia, central London. Inside, officers discovered 3 phones containing numerous messages between him and others talking about the collection, consolidation and movement of cash. The phones also contained pictures of suitcases filled with cash, a readout from a money counting machine, and an itinerary of one courier's journey, with Abdullah checking in at every stage of the process to ensure the money was delivered safely to Dubai. On the 27th of June 2022, Abdullah Mohammed al-bin Bieta al-Alfalasi pleaded guilty to removing criminal property from England and Wales contrary to Section 327 of the Proceeds of Crime Act. He was sentenced to 9 years and 7 months in prison. Tara Hanlon was jailed for 34 months and Zedek Kamet was jailed for 26 months after both pleading guilty to money laundering offences. Nicola Eason and Mohammed Lyas have both pleaded guilty to removing criminal property and are awaiting sentencing. Michelle Clark is still believed to be living in Dubai and is wanted by the National Crime Agency. Christina Brown, director of Border Force National Operations HQ, said a colossal amount of dirty money, totalling £104 million, was transported to Dubai under Alfalasi's instructions. The evidence against Alfalasi was overwhelming, with invoices, declaration documents and images of cash-filled suitcases pointing to his culpability. Now, I'll end this case with a quote from Senior Investigating Officer Ian Truby. Cash is the lifeblood of organised crime groups, which they reinvest into activities such as drug trafficking, which fuels violence and insecurity around the world. International money laundering networks use cash smuggling, cryptocurrencies and bank systems to move billions of pounds of dirty money each year. This cash can be derived from the drug trade, fraud or other illegal commodities, or even be associated with terrorism and conflicts around the world. I think this case helps shine a light on just how much dirty money circulates through not just the British economy, but through the world. Even though this was described as one of the largest money laundering operations the UK has ever seen, I believe it's just the tip of the iceberg. Though I can't help but wonder if the cash couriers really knew the extent of what they were involved in. During the COVID pandemic, a lot of people were made redundant and were struggling. Do you think Abdullah preyed on the most vulnerable and the hardest hit by the pandemic? Or do you think everyone involved knew exactly what they were doing? Let me know below in the comments. Now, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you found this interesting, please like and subscribe, it really does help me out. Till next time, take care.